and they're preparing for payments using these technologies.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. Let's set the pace for today's video by confirming a couple of different things. Right now, we are in the midst of a massive digital transformation, and we are on the brink, the forefront of experiencing mass adoption and a technology super cycle.
Now, a super cycle is actually an economic term that basically means an extended period of booming demand that elevates the prices of commodities and assets to unprecedented heights. It stretches across years, sometimes it'll stretch across decades, and creates substantial and sustained changes in the economy. It connects to space, it connects to sports, to every business, to every single person sitting in this room, to every facet of our daily lives. Which means that the wave of innovation that's coming is so intense and so potent and so pervasive, it will literally reshape our human existence.
So in today's video breakdown, we're going to talk about the potential maturation of the digital asset ecosystem, onboarding the next billion users, and some technological advancements that are taking place in the DeFi industry. If you all enjoy these video breakdowns, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the platform. We're going to be talking about the Xrpl. We're going to be talking about decentralized finance, and we're going to be talking about the maturation of this digital asset ecosystem. So as you all heard from the lady at the beginning of this video, she goes on to confirm that we are in a technology super cycle. Now, we need to understand that right now, the time that we're currently in is the worst that our technology is ever going to be.
So just imagine, today, right now, this is the worst that our technology will ever be. Look, this is an exhilarating time to be alive.
That's a massive statement. Understanding that it's only going to progress and move upwards from here should open your eyes to show you the opportunities that are readily available at your fingertips, so you choose to dive in. And we're going to get into that in today's video breakdown. Now, let's look at this gentleman's rap sheet right here. Dr. Joshman Schwerin, hopefully I said that correctly, okay? I'm just going to call him JS. He is the principal economist in the unit responsible for digital transformation of the industry within the Directorate General Internal Market Industry Entrepreneurship and SMEs of the European Commission. He is responsible for the developing of the policy approach of DG Grow towards the token economy and distributed ledger technologies, as well as their applications for industry and SMEs. Listen to what he says about what he believes is the future.
Now in discussion with the co-legislators, so basically by the European Parliament and the Council, we hear that at the beginning of April, there is a vote scheduled in the European Parliament and the Econ Committee. There have recently been very interesting developments. A couple of members of the European Parliament calling for DLT-based solutions as well that have my full support. Actually, it was very important that at least in the Commission proposal, we left the door open for that because at least I am a very strong supporter of anything that is based on DLT because I think that's the future in finance. On DLT because I think that's the future in finance.
And sitting on a panel with him, a gentleman goes on to confirm that they are in the process of preparing to use these new technologies.
I do speak to market participants who kind of expect that the solutions will still be there in the future in this exact way. They kind of expect that a trigger solution, a hashlink contract, or an on-chain, these things will exist in the future, and they're preparing for payments using these technologies. And they're preparing for payments using these technologies.
Again, these are video breakdowns that the mainstream media is never going to show you all. The mainstream media is going to constantly pump fear, uncertainty, and doubt into your hearts, into your minds, because they know the future potential of this digital asset ecosystem and the way in which it is going to expand over the next couple of years. Which leads me to this post right here. April 29th from Cointelegraph. Is crypto on track to hit 1 billion users by the end of 2025? In my personal opinion, it is extremely possible. Understand that there are some stepping stones, some things that need to happen in order to get to this point. But we are still in the early stages of this digital asset ecosystem. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that. Right now, we can see that the current number of users in the cryptocurrency asset ecosystem has increased to about 580 million active users back in 2023, according to a January 2024 report by crypto.com. That's very interesting. Now, in order to onboard the next, let's just say 500 million users to get to 1 billion, there need to be some improvements in this space, but that is happening. Right now, we are on the precipice of entering into a utility phase where we go from a speculative phase and usher in a real world utility cycle where these technological advancements are actually being utilized by every average day citizens. That is what they are building right now as we speak. That is what these developers, that is what these blockchain experts are all working on behind the scenes to make it easy and seamlessly integrate this new technology into the backend infrastructure so that normal people don't even really know that it exists in the backend system, that they're using blockchain and distributed ledger technology, but they are.
So we've seen this ecosystem, the blockchain ecosystem, evolve over the past decade and a bit. The narratives have come and gone. We started up with the Bitcoin narrative, we moved through the ICO narrative, moved to NFTs, and now we're seeing all the hype has been and left the system, and we're actually now seeing real value, real fundamentals becoming the dominant narrative as it's moving in.
And tell me about what you're most excited when it comes to use cases and applications. Because ultimately we're building all this so billions of people can use this technology in the future. So curious what you're thinking about when it comes to applications.
There's probably a broad range of applications we can talk about in this panel, but just seeing that mindset shift from the talent side of things, where people are like more interested in coming to the space and building real solutions for end users, coupled with rollups, account abstraction, other improvements we'll see this year. I think there are a ton of use cases that we've been talking about for a really long time, It's from like 2017 ICOs that will finally come to market in the near future. And hopefully people will be interacting on chain without necessarily knowing that they're using crypto at all.
Here is an example. Stripe adds support for stablecoin payments. We know Jeremy Allaire said in a post just a couple days ago and in a previous video breakdown, payments is the next big thing in crypto. And we can see right here, an organization like Stripe adding support for stablecoin payments is a massive milestone in the digital asset ecosystem that will make onboarding new users into this space extremely appetizing. Take a second and listen to what this gentleman goes on to say about the future of payments.
Next up, we are going to talk about crypto. Now, if you're a nightclub owner in Miami, you might have noticed that business has been a bit slower than usual. It's been a rough few years in the crypto market. And crypto is the only part of the financial world where you can get 12-year-olds making themselves millions by drawing a whale wearing a top hat, and people making and losing billions on dog coins. But if you're just skimming the funny headlines and chuckling and moving on, you're missing out on all the genuinely exciting progress that's been happening in crypto. And you owe it to yourself to dig in properly. 10 years ago, we became the first major payments company to support Bitcoin as a payment method. At the time, Bitcoin was a pretty terrible payment method. Transactions took ages, they were very expensive. So in 2018, we actually turned it off. But amidst all the trials and tribulations and Shiba Inus and crypto kitties, there's been a lot of technical improvements happening in crypto. I'm talking about 3 things specifically. Firstly, transaction settlement times are no longer comparable with Christopher Nolan films for length. Many blockchains are now measuring transaction times in the milliseconds. Secondly, transaction settlement costs are no longer comparable with Christopher Nolan films for budget. It's now perfectly affordable to transact on-chain. And finally, and this is a big one, stablecoins are becoming, stable. They're regulated, they're backed by real assets, they're being used a lot. Look at this chart of the total value being transacted by stablecoins. If we're in a crypto winter post-2021, nobody told the stablecoins. So what does this all mean? Well, it means crypto is finding real utility. We're seeing folks use it to store value. It means crypto is finding real utility. We're seeing folks use it to store value, most notably when their domestic currency crashes. You don't see this in the US. It's a very good currency here, but that's not the case everywhere. Look at Turkey. You can see that as the price of the Turkish lira has fallen over the past few years, the lira's trading volumes against stablecoins have consistently increased. With transaction speeds increasing and costs coming down, we're seeing crypto finally making sense as a means of exchange. And so, I have something for you. We're excited to announce that we're bringing back crypto as a way to accept payments, but this time with a much better experience as stablecoins.
He mentions utility. We are on the precipice of experiencing a massive inflow into the digital asset ecosystem because we are entering into a maturation of this crypto space where, yes, these assets are still utilized for speculative trading, but people are starting to see, and not only people, but also large organizations and financial institutions are actually starting to see that this space holds value. This space holds real world utility and has viable applications to businesses large organizations, and every single day transactions. With that being said, moving on, we need to see developments like this in the space. This is a massive breakthrough right here. Easeability, ease of use, ease of entering into this space, the future of DeFi. This was posted just yesterday on April 30th, 2024. Despite all the hype and mania around the cryptocurrency industry at times, it is still considered by most accounts to be in its infancy phase. It has not yet fully realized its potential, but that may all be starting to change with the continued innovations of DeFi through Xrpl Finance. Hopefully I said that correctly. Now, what is Xrpl? Despite the technological innovation of blockchain technology and DeFi, the space has remained primarily occupied by fluent and native users of cryptocurrency. This is a massive breakthrough, by the way. While it is true that crypto and DeFi are hyper-growth industries, again, remember, we are in a technology supercycle, that are disrupting traditional finance, the other harder truth to acknowledge is that the adoption of the technology globally still sits at only between 4 to 5% of the population. That is insane. That number alone should get you interested and spark your appetite to get involved in the early stages. Because once this number changes, can you imagine getting into crypto when this number changes, the global population entered into the space to 30 to 40% or even 20 to 15%? What the digital asset space is going to look like?
You don't want to get in when it's obvious to everybody, because then it's a bit late. So if you're lucky to be here, to be in the space, to see what's happening, this is the right time to get in.
I mean, wow, massive opportunities are going to be missed. Crypto, and more specifically DeFi, has a user experience problem. This is what I'm talking about, needs to change, and it is. The technology is innovative and impressive, but often difficult and intimidating to enter unless you are familiar with it, which is true. Xrpl Finance's overarching goal is to make the space accessible to the everyday user, which is something that needs to happen in order for us to see the next billion users come into play. It wants to be a catalyst for DeFi adoption by providing practical applications through the creation of a robust bridge between the DeFi and fiat financial spaces. So, what are they ushering in? They're ushering in DeFi debit cards. The flagship product of Xrpl Finance is its non-KYC DeFi debit cards. It is taking the Visa and MasterCard model of credit cards from the legacy financial industry and reapplies them to DeFi by creating a physical debit card that can be utilized in real life in the exact same manner as users' traditional debit cards. Xrpl is creating a familiar and easy to onboard entry point for the users into DeFi. So in order for us to see the next 500 million users, equating to 1 billion users in the digital asset ecosystem, we need to continuously see positive developments like this happen in order to make it easy for users to onboard into this space comfortably and in a trustworthy manner, right? So we're seeing these things happen. We're seeing these migrations and these developments take place behind the scenes. But again, mainstream media will never tell you on CNBC and Fox News that these things are happening. What are they always focused on? They're always focused on price. They're always focused on, oh, the cryptocurrency market is down. It's a scam. It's a fad. Get out of it, right? No, understand where this space is headed long-term, zooming out and seeing the bigger picture, okay? So these two developments are extremely positive for the maturation of the space and the potential onboarding of the next 500 million users. Now, something that I posted to you guys, let's talk about DeFi since we're on that topic, given the DeFi debit card that we just mentioned, okay? I mentioned to you guys on the X space, DeFi passive income serves as a prime method for maximizing opportunities. If you're not too familiar with what I'm talking about, you gotta get hip, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of my viewers are XRP investors. Well, most likely your XRP sitting dormant, collecting no interest, collecting no fees, doing nothing except sitting in a cold storage wallet, which at the end of the day is a good strategy long-term, but you could be making money on that XRP right now by providing liquidity. It's very simplistic. I don't need to use any of my own hard-earned capital to buy XRP. I can use the house money, right? I can use the trading fees that I'm getting from being a liquidity provider and use that to buy more XRP to build my crypto bags. Most people don't even know that this is possible. They are sitting on thousands of dollars of dormant crypto and not earning any passive income whatsoever, which is absolutely ludicrous in my personal opinion, but again, to each his own. It is time to change the way that we think about crypto investing. Our crypto can work for us. growing our portfolios while we wait for the next bull run. Again, if you're sleeping on these opportunities, if you're one of those people that's like, oh, regs aren't clear, I don't want to get involved. No, you have to understand that we have the upper hand right now. We have the upper hand as retail investors because we don't have as much regulatory scrutiny breathing down our neck to get involved into the space. We should be taking advantage of that. We should not let that sideline us. We should do our due diligence, do our research, and understand the potential possibilities in this space. So that leads me to this post right here. This is from 2 weeks ago. Ripple steps into DeFi and announces XRP lending protocols. We can see new lending protocols on the XRP ledger. Ripple unveiled the proposal for a native lending protocol on the XRP ledger. This protocol is poised to enhance XRPL's interaction with the DeFi ecosystem, marking a significant step towards improved financial inclusivity and transparency. The proposed protocol introduces a direct lending and borrowing mechanism that prioritizes flexibility and reusability. Notably, the protocol allows participants to contribute fungible tokens such as XRP, Wrapped Bitcoin, and Wrapped ETH to a lending pool to earn interest. I'm telling you guys right now, if you are sleeping on the potential possibilities that DeFi has to offer to grow your wealth while we wait for the next bull market cycle, you're sleeping on massive amounts of capital appreciation. Okay. Now, yes, of course, there's risks associated, just like there's risks associated with anything in the digital asset space, but we have to mature past that. We need to do our due diligence. We need to make sure that we are expanding our education and making DeFi passive income by lending out our XRP or being a liquidity provider and earning fees for being a liquidity provider is one of the ways that I've grown my portfolio over the past consecutive couple of months and years into a multi-six-figure portfolio. So again, you have the opportunity to do that as well. Don't forget that we are creating a course, myself and Mr. Aquaman, on how we are doing that, how we are utilizing our current crypto holdings to build our crypto bags simply by just being liquidity providers. Stay tuned for that. Make sure that you're following us on the X Space and on YouTube for further updates and announcements on the release of that in-depth course. So that way you guys can learn yourselves. As always, many blessings to you guys. There are massive developments happening behind the scenes. We're seeing a clear maturation of this digital asset ecosystem with these ongoing developments. Do not sleep on the potential of DeFi. Don't sleep on the potential that you have to accelerate in the DeFi markets by using decentralized finance to your advantage to grow your crypto portfolio. As always, many blessings to you guys. None of this is financial advice. To each his own. As always, I will see you guys in the next video breakdown.